We're joined by the head coach of the New York Giants, Joe Judge. And, Coach, we're going to go back to early in the second quarter of the game in Chicago last week. And you have the Bears pinned inside their own 10-yard line. We're going to go through the plays on defense and then the subsequent special teams play. Take us through this first down defensive play.
Right, so the three plays I want to show right here on defense are all the theme of just team defense and playing all 11 hats on the same page playing the ball. And some themes that kind of tie in right here. So I'm going to show this from the side view real quick and just show the idea of just hats going on the ball, but then it's really the back view I want to highlight and show. And we're going to talk right here. This is PN10. So we just punted the ball down there, down inside the 10-yard line. So it's possession and 10. And this is going to be a situation we talk about, we call it drive starters. And what drive starters are for most teams are surefire, easy gain plays. So you're talking about a game plan scheme run that's secure to gain at least 4 or 5 yards. You're talking about a play action or a boot or a naked to get on the edge to have easy access throws or some kind of quick game to just get the drive started. So in this situation right here, you know, the Bears end up working really for more one of those kind of nakeds coming out right there. All right, with the run action going this way, the receiver slipping out the backside, off the play fake, and just trying to get Andy outside the pocket. And it's normally a surefire way of finding someone in space for a quick completion, for a catch run, and get going within the drive. But the thing I want to highlight from the side is just, you can see right here, as he's throwing the ball, we've got the pressure, we've got the coverage mapped up, we've got guys in the zone, we've got guys over top, we've got guys squeezing, and it's just good team defense, all 11 to the ball. Now, on the backside here, you watch Quincy, you watch Jalen, and you watch Tay, and all their eyes stay tied in right away, that they look through the mesh point right there, but they really see those high hats of the offensive line, that they really smell it. They're not truly block and run. They're just trying to get you to go ahead and take the cheese. And when they see that, you can see all their eyes tied in to react and get back over into the force and coverage. And then you just watch all the hats glue out their map. So here comes Quincy. He's the go-ahead and contain man right there. Austin's in the big man in pursuit. Jalen's going to take first man out right here. Tay's taking second man out. You've got the DBs right here between Logan and Brad taking their zones right here and squeezing on down with it. And then you get the high safety coming over top right there, making sure you're secure. But then it's also the guys you're going to see come back into the picture from the back end with Leo and that crew right here of just the hats to the ball. And it's a good shot right here of getting the force on Andy, making him pull up, not giving him an option of anywhere to throw. Definitely no easy throws on a drive starter right here. And then just going ahead and forcing the incomplete pass with the throwaway.
All right, so now, Coach, you have him in a 2nd and 10 situation after you get the well-executed play on the short play that they're trying to run on first down. Probabilities are with a guy like Montgomery, at some point they're going to want to feed him the ball, and you guys do a really good job of run defense on 2nd and 10. So
this situation here for us is called get back on track. Types of plays you can expect for get back on track teams like the Bears who try to get it in 2 plays. You're looking at surefire game plays. So with a back like Montgomery, as you said right there, Bob, they're looking to go and get the ball in his hands and run it and get vertical for 4 to 6 yards. All right, screens and quick game. Things that are surefire, get the ball out of your hands or take advantage of an aggressive pass rush up the field and go ahead and let your players make plays. So we're going to watch it right here from the side view for a second just to show the formation. So as you can see this right here, all right, we got this tray formation. Tray being, there's the tight end right there on the backside, and you got the 3 skill receivers on the front side. And that really goes ahead and puts a lot of teams in a run-pass conflict because you've got a stronger situation with the back offset away from the tight end. Really, most runs are going to get handed off that way to the tight end. You got extra blockers, bigger bodies, and then over here, off those play fakes, it may hold your linebackers and create more space right there for those skill players to run those passes. So this tray formation, it's just not a way of just lining people up. This is a formation that gives quarterbacks man zone indicators because a lot of teams look to see, did your corner come on over to cover the receiver? Because the NFL people get paid to cover, all right, skill on skill. Did you leave your corner split over the tight end? Is that an indicator for a zone? How do they want to play that play? And then also, what are you aligned in? A lot of teams like the Bears will get more of their RPO type deal where they may read off the formation and give the fake and then throw the quick game outside. But in this instance right here, they're really looking more for the design run to get vertical. And what you're looking for right here, the Bears looking to just go ahead and get a downhill direct run. It's a really well-designed play right here that gives them options. And a lot of teams prefer this. It's an inside zone type play with the double teams. All right, and they're looking right here to double team. These 2 guys here get the big guy moving, and the next guy's going to slip off here. So you're going to double team up to the backer. And then right here, they're going to double team the down man up here, all right, to Jalen, the other backer. They're going to base block and kick out our edge player and base block and kick out our edge player right here. And it just creates space. Now, what the running back's taught in this instance right here in most offenses is he's reading that middle linebacker. And what he's reading them on right here is he's trying to go vertically downhill. And he's just looking for color. Is the color on that side? I'm going to cut on back. Is the color hiding on this side? I'm going to go ahead and cut right there to space because I'm going to have 2 options of running downhill. Now, the team defense element comes in very important here is everybody having their leverage and playing off each other. Now, in this defensive construct for us, Jalen knows that he's got this gap right here until it declares and he can fall back. Okay? Tay's got to play it outside and be ready to slip on back. Quincy's got the outside contained right here, and that means Brad, because there's no receiver removing him, he's got to go ahead and plug this gap right here, and he's got to play outside in. So we talk about our defensive backs, especially our corners, having to be physical tacklers. And a lot of teams don't trust their corners to do a lot of tackling. A lot of offenses scheme up to put your running back on the corner unblocked, knowing you're going to win that matchup. It's a good shot right here of the guys taking on the double teams, holding ground, but it's a really good job right here of the vision through the blocks and watching Jalen right here see it and then fall back. And you see Brad trigger right here. But it's the right idea right here of holding the edge with Quincy and then a nice violent shed to come underneath once the ball gets level and declares. It's the right idea of Brad triggering and making a good wrap tackle, Quincy falling back under, and then you see all the hats on my team defense rallying to the ball. So here comes Logan, deep safety support. Here comes Jalen laid over top. Here comes Zoe. His vision was on the ball. Here comes Tay reacting. Here comes Leo. Here comes Austin. And then at the end of the play, you see the other guys. Here comes the other three Musketeers in pursuit to get to the action in case something were to trickle on out and break. But again, just holding the leverage points right there and where the vision is, the gap control for who has what, who's responsible to go ahead and play it, all right, and then fall back into certain gaps and cancel them out.
And Coach, when you talk about gap control, it is as important for the second level players to understand what blocking schemes are as it is for the guys being blocked up front, because if they're going to be doubles, they have to be able to go in and fill a gap and set a wall, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we always talk in terms of the high man makes the low man right. Meaning if we say, hey, listen, Austin's got this gap right here, because generally speaking, you talk about a 4-down front construct and you got one back. You say one back, one gap. A lot of teams play 2-gap type tech, all right, but you say one back, one gap right here. And we say Austin's got this B gap, but he gets out of his gap. Well, that's the responsibility of the linebacker to see that gap cancel out in front of him and to replace playing back. And if the linebacker Jalen gets out of his gap, let's say Austin's here, all right, and Jalen gets over pursuit here, well then Logan, as he fits, he has to see that gap was vacated. I've got to be ready to insert and the high man make the low man right. So we always talk about playing on levels, and the guy behind you has to make the guy in front of you right.
All right, so now, Coach, you got him in a 3rd and medium. It's 3rd and 6. You don't want to give up the first down here. You want to force a punt, get the 3 and out. Talk us through this pass attempt to Darnell Mooney, who's been a big play guy for them over the course of this season.
Absolutely. So the first thing we talked about in the last play, we talked about tray formation. We talked about the indicators, man versus zone. And what a lot of teams do on 3rd down is they want to see it's 3rd and 6 right here. They want to see what kind of defense are you playing. They want a perfect play mentality, meaning if it's zone, you want a certain route combination. If it's man, you want a certain route combination to find your matchups. Well, they go empty in this formation right here, and they know by going empty, you're going to have to put 5 guys out over 5 guys. And how are you matching up body types? Well, because they match out right here, okay, and they put a back outside, there's Tay Crowder outside. A lot of times that's an indicator, and not that we won't mix it up, so it's not like I'm telling everything that's going to disclose everything we do. But, you know, if you put Tay outside in the back, that's normally a pretty good indicator for man defense. And what they see in man defense is now that they know it's man-to-man across the way, what they're looking for is what kind of man is it? Is it inside leverage man or outside leverage man? And they've got to know where the help is. So what they're going to look for on the snap is Andy's going to locate, number one, all right, what matchup he really likes, who he's going to try to work. In this one right here, he's going to Mooney, who's become one of their go-to guys. They're going to try and stress him, all right, down the field. What they're going to do is run just a little sit route right there to try to tie Tay on down and create the separation for the outside throw in a one-on-one down the field with Mooney. So as a quarterback, you learn at an early age, you got to look at the guys who can't lie to you, and that's the safeties. They're going to tell you what the story is. Well, when the ball turns over right here, obviously you see the separation of a high safety and a low safety. So when the ball turns over, what happens right away? All right, boom. Logan drops down. He's going to be more the low hole player. Robert inside. He's going to look to help with the crossers. All right, or it's a double team by certain game plan right there. All right, and then you're going to get the high safety help right here for Xavier McKinney. And this is really the importance of having a deep field safety. All right, a lot of times people hear deep field safety and they think he's removed from the action. He's really the guy who's at the point of action everywhere it goes on these 3rd down situations, because he's going to have to break and get to the ball at all costs. Now, what we're looking at right here is Andy identifies the matchup he wants right here, and he's trying to suck up Tay right here to create the zone. Tay holds a little bit more depth right here, not breaking and taking the cheese right away. But when they get A-Rob right here, now A-Rob's in a very good position here in that low hip, and we're going to always go ahead and teach it and talk, because a lot of teams have gotten very good at throwing that back shoulder throw where you get even with the receiver, and the quarterback actually throws it behind him, so when he turns around, he can catch it before the DB can break it up. We're going to deny that for most cases right here. And we're going to say that you got to throw a perfect pass to beat us. We're going to play that near low hip, that's a hip behind him closer to the line of scrimmage. And we're going to make you beat us with a throw perfectly over that outside shoulder. And then we're going to challenge it through the hands all the way to the ground. Now, along with, all right, A-Rob's position right here, here comes the break by Zay. We talk about that eye control that showed up in all three down so far. As Zay's working to break over, Andy's eyes are bringing him right back over top, okay? And when the ball goes in the air, you really have it how you want it. You got your low hip position, a man-to-man, and position to go ahead and challenge and fight into the ground and make the play. And then you got Xavier over the top of that deep field safety. And you see how he times up and goes up there, and there's a collision right there in the air. But you can see the break on the ball and the opportunity for the breakup and possibly an interception if it's not quite the collision with the offense breaking up right there. You look across the map as well, the other man-to-man matchups, and you've got tight matched man. You can see the in-break route right there on Bradbury, but you got Logan in here as that low help. So if you're going to lose, you got to lose inside to where your help is. Same thing right here with Adoree. Now, Dory's holding outside leverage. He's going to let his man release inside because, again, where's your bonus player? It's Logan right there. So if you're getting hit in here with routes, you've got an inside player who's an extra free robber that's going to take away those in-breaking routes, those crossers. Over the top, Zay's got to cancel these routes out for 53 1/3 yards, and that's why it's so important when they start stretching vertical with A-Rob that you make it have to be a perfect pass that they can't throw on a line, but they have to throw over top and to you so it buys time for the safety to get there.
So the Giants have the Bears pinned inside the 10. They get a 3 and out. Now, Coach, you get a play on special teams that doesn't necessarily show up on any kind of box score, but it creates field position that leads to points for you. Let's talk about the pressure you get on the punter to force a bad punt.
So this was a situation right here. We had them backed up. We held them a 3 and out. We had a punt return team on the field. And what we want to do is make sure we have the opportunity in this play right here to not only put pressure on the punter, but also have a chance at a return that if he got it off, it wasn't all or nothing. So we're going to scheme things up at certain points to make sure we get pressure and also give us the option if we can't get it for the return. Now, the wind in this game, and this ties in heavily, was actually coming back at this angle right here. And you see a lot of kickoffs that happen in the game really hit this part of the end zone. Well, just as we talked about in the Eagles game last week, those direct winds, they affect the kicking game more than anything right away. And we talk about the punter punting out. Not only is he punting into a wind that's going to make his punt shorter and hang up more, but he's punting into a wind that's going to heavily favor a certain sideline. And these guys are going to always want to go ahead and work to a preferable wind. That's just the reality of what it is in the NFL. So when you know the punter's here, he's going to look to go ahead and hit it to the direction of the wind and make sure he can use that to carry his ball as far as possible. So we're going to look right here as a setup, knowing the punt direction is going to come that way into a wind. We want to make sure two things. If it's a short punt, we want to make sure that we get immediate pressure on the gunner to give ourselves a chance to catch it coming up and still get vertical and create field position. The other thing we want to do is put pressure on the punter. You see right here, they do a good job of timing up on the PP mannerisms and cadence and creating a 5-man surface that's going to force in the punter's face and really give him a fit to really get all of his steps and get a good clean punt off. So we'll watch it from the side view right here, and what you'll see is on the snap, you'll see a good surge right here from that 5-man surface, all right? And we're always looking for just compacting it back into the punter. And you see from his vision right here, it's not always about getting your hand on the ball, it's about getting in this guy's head. And it's about affecting the people who have the ball at all times. Affect the snapper, affect the quarterback, affect the long snapper, affect the punter. These are the people you have to affect, the people with the ball in their hands. And you just see right there the pressure on them. We don't get the punt here, but he's feeling it. He's going to feel it the next punt as well because it's going to trickle over into a cumulative effect. Now we're getting good vice right here on the sidelines, giving us a good hold up. We're getting decent single on the backside, and the ball is going to come out. Now, if it's a better punt, we're going to be able to catch this thing and go running without their coverage getting out clean. There's going to be a seam to get vertical. Now, in this case, it forces a shank that goes low and hooks right out of bounds around midfield and gives us good field position right here to start an offensive series. Now, from the back view, we already talked about the vice, but from the back view, it's a good shot right here, and it's not just about putting outside numbers. It's about the angles you got to come on right here. So in base punt protection, again, what you're looking for on pieces of paper as you teach an install, the wing right here is going to block 1, the furthest man out. The tackle is going to block 2, the next man in. The guard's going to block 3, and the next 2 are going to belong to the center and the PP. So in some combination, they're going to have to get 4 and 5 as they rush right here. Now, that looks great on paper, but the reality is, as these guys are rushing hard, he's going to cut off a guard or a snapper at some point, and it's going to get foggy in there. So as you watch the rush right here, the coaching point emphasis is, hey, look, disrupt this guy. And how do you disrupt it? If it's a quarterback, we talk about get him off the spot. Pressure vertically into the pocket, push him on back, make a move. With a punter, it's knowing where the block point is. And that's going to be right behind that center's but at about 9.5 to 10 yards, and you've got to beat him to that spot that he can't aggressively walk in there where they're most protected from the way they're trying to protect it inside out. You watch this track right here. It's going to be a good job right here of Penny in that A gap, barreling on through and not only eating up the snapper right there, but running through the snapper's edge and then tying up the PP. So he really gets 2 for 1 right there just by being a strong vertical rusher, but it's the angle he comes in at. He's not just running straight up the field where he's going to cut off the guys on the outside of him. He's running inside to compress that pocket. Now, the other guys you're going to see right here is you're stretching a little bit outside right here, and you're making sure you got vision that there's no fake coming your way or someone slipping out, because he's going to rush through the wing right here, all right, with man responsibility. And what you get is the next 3 guys, okay, are really 3 over 2, and you're looking for some kind of leakage. And this one right here, you end up getting a good bolt, and this is J.R. Reed's going to sneak in here, all right, right inside of Penny, and you just see the hand right there that just misses the punt point. But again, the compression back to the apex, the color in his face, the disruption of their protection, the vice on the outside, and just the opportunity of getting this thing going vertical. And you can see just how the opportunity would be that if we could get a cleaner punt to get this thing going vertical, you give yourself a chance there for a block for field position or a big return for field position to go ahead and get it vertical. And it's about using the wind, using the elements, and knowing the situation you're playing in the game.
The Giants, after the pressure on the punter, set up with good field position, and Coach, Saquon Barkley was able to get a ground game going. Just talk about this first run to set the drive off in a very positive tone.
Look, this was our drive starter right here. We stopped him for 3 and out. We got the shank on the punt right there. Now it's our turn for a drive starter. What you're looking for is a good, solid play getting downhill. So we talked about it. Surefire game plan runs, play action passes, boots, things of that nature for surefire gains. For us in this game, we said we're going to run the ball. We know they know we're going to run it. We're going to run it anyway. And just looking from the side right here is a 10-yard gain on P and 10, first down. All right, but you see the surge right here, just the separation of moving it. And you see that wall forming right there with the way the angles are coming off right there and the way they're moving the blocks. And the key part of this, we'll show up from the backside, is, again, creating that angle right there, that wall, and then that kick out right there so you have the other separation so Saquon can stick that thing vertically and going through it. And this is just your base power play. We're talking about power. It's really a double team back to the will. It's a pull around for the Mike. So we're declaring, the Mike linebacker right here. We'll say the will linebacker's right here. We're going to double team back to the will. All right, we're going to pull around for the Mike. We're going to kick out on the edges right here, okay, with Penny right here. And we're going to go ahead and create some angles. And the other elements we'll talk about in a second. But you see right here just the base down blocks and the hat placement and the hand placement. And you see right here is where that double's kind of forming right here with Kyle Rudolph coming down and knocking over their down lineman to create an angle. But then he's got to come up and get on Roquan as well with some control. And he does a good job right there of retracing. And now we've got a hat on a hat across the board right there. Okay, you see the kickouts on the front side. All right, here comes Eli Penny. All right, kicking out Quinn. All right, here comes Will pulling around for Ogletree right here. And then David Sills in that reduced split. He's the one who's responsible right here for that low safety. And there's different ways of handling this. You can insert block. You can play action off of the 2 lows. A lot of things you can do. But in this one right here, it's real simple. Sills, you got to get in there, and you got to affect him to make sure he can't insert right away and stop the run. And he does a really good job. Again, we talk to receivers all the time. It's not about catching balls. It's about what do you do productive on every play. When you're not catching the ball every play, how are you blocking for the run game? What kind of high motor are you playing for? And you see it right here as it starts up. We've got a hat on a hat at the point of attack, and that's what we're looking for. And you see Saquon, he does a really good job of hitting this thing and getting it vertical. It gets up to the free safety, waiting to be part of the field. All right, and again, Jackson slips off it late, is able to slow down Saquon, but a good 10-yard gain. And again, the hat placement, the angles, the track, Will does a good job of coming tight around here now. He doesn't bow it right here, and that gives him the opportunity to adjust his angle, but keep it inside out, because what you don't want now is to get squared up on this backer as Ogletree comes in. If he's squared up in the hole right here, then it's foggy for Saquon. There's nowhere to really go. So because he keeps inside-out hat placement right here, that's the scene we're looking for right there. There's a lot of details showed up in this. I thought our offensive line prepared well last week to give us a chance to run game. I was really proud of the way our backs ran aggressive and downhill with good ball security, and that's the way we got to play ball around here.
And, Coach, you said something at the beginning of this presentation. You said they knew you were going to run the ball, and you have to run it anyway. And sometimes, and just like in this case, this is an 8-man front. It's a show of force, but not everybody in that front are willing participants, are willing tacklers. And you can see once you got your bodies on their bodies, there are a lot of guys that didn't want any part of that. So it's important when you are determined to run the football that you can't be discouraged by the numbers, because some of those numbers that are in the box are not necessarily willing tacklers.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of runs you design that just by nature of the design is going to be somebody free. Maybe a backside safety you got to run away from. Maybe someone creeping down late. Sometimes you're going to design a run that is just going to be the back's got to take the extra man himself. But you've got to be willing to get the run started and be the more physical team up front and get it going. And again, we talk about being a balanced team. And to me, balance isn't running and passing 50-50. To me, being a balanced team is being able to throw the ball when you have to throw it and they know you have to throw it, and be able to run it when they know you're going to run it and you have to run it. And that's what a balanced team can really do.
Coach, we appreciate it each and every week, you coming in and doing this with us and, trying to educate us on the intricacies of each play, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. And I know you put time and effort into this as well to try to make it as best as possible. Thank you so much for it, and best of luck on Sunday.
Hey, guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.